Let's talk about Palantir Technologies, stock symbol PLTR. This company just reported earnings after the bell. It was a pretty good reaction initially. It couldn't hold it together despite multiple attempts to drive it higher after hours. It succumbed to the pressures and to the bears, and as a result, finished back below 200. Now, whether or not this carries on over into the following day remains to be seen. It has a huge dip buying presence about it. The retail traders love the stock. Wall Street still loves the stock. You look at their earnings, they came in at 21 cents per share versus 17 cents expected. Their revenue came in at 1.18 billion versus 1.09 billion. They guided higher for the next quarter. They guided higher for the next over the course of the next fiscal year. Yet the stock struggled in the after hours. One of the reasons I think that's the case is because it was priced for perfection. I mean, you look at the run up, it was incredible. But the other thing too is that it's an extremely overvalued stock. In fact, it's probably one of the most overvalued stocks in the entire stock market, posting a PE ratio of over 600. And then you have the people that'll tell you that PE ratios don't matter anymore. They're the very reason why when this market does bust, there's going to be a lot of pain out there for a lot of traders when they start to see some of these stocks just get annihilated. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen right around the corner. Far from it. Even PLTR could go much higher, maybe even double or triple before that even happened. Who knows? But at some point, there's going to be an issue with some of these incredible valuations that we're giving to stocks. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get into the stock right now and see what we're talking about. This chart, I mean, this is one of the most amazing charts here. I mean, you have this parallel channels. This goes all the way back to August of just last year. However, it still remains very relevant because you can see where it has tested the lower channel band on multiple times. And then when it broke out to the upside, it actually held it as support on multiple occasions as well. Now, the time when it broke the upper channel band, what did it do? It found support at the lower channel band. So there is some strength right there with this parallel channel, even though price is very much detached from it. I mean, if you look at where it's at right now at 207 at the close of Monday, it's about 40% below where the current price is at right now. So then you take this rising trend line and you can see where things start to connect a little bit. And what makes this such an interesting chart is that if this stock continues to pull back, and now what I'm going to do is put the post-market trading hours on there. You can see where it got up to over $220 a share, came all the way back to 198. Heavy selling, people locking in those profits. Probably as soon as it started to cross into that 220, people were like, okay, this is almost too good to be true, booking profits. And you're seeing that across a lot of stocks in general. So with PLTR, the potential for a pullback to this 187 area seems to hold some weight for me. Now, if you look at the rising trend line just underneath it, you have 181. So depending on how long it takes to get back down to this level, if it's to get back to this level, you could have a converging support levels underneath, provide an extra layer for it to bounce off of. So if it gets down to these two levels right here and it can hold it, could make for a pretty sizable bounce going forward. Now, if that level breaks, obviously you have some other support levels in the meantime. It doesn't mean it's going straight down to these parallel channels again. I mean, for one, you have some key support right here as well. I mean, that's a pretty solid support level right there around the 151 area. We're a long ways from that even being tested. Even before that, you would have some additional support at the 170 area. There's a lot of support levels on PLTR for it to try to find its footing. Now, let's look at it from a 30-minute standpoint, and I think this chart is pretty fascinating as well. Now, when you draw this line, and you can see where there's multiple tests here going back to the 28th of October, and then you have another one here on the 31st of October, where it actually, or 30th of October, where it actually broke below the rising trend line, but the next day it gapped right back above it. This one could be a little bit different in this case to where it may be spending a lot longer time than just one candle bar below the rising trend line. So what you're going to want to see is for the bulls to be able to step it up, get it back above this rising trend line, maybe even in the pre-market to where this trend line isn't being broken just yet, and it can inspire the bulls to want to continue to add on to their positions. But if that continues to fade, you can see, I mean, there's some intraday support levels like right here that could take hold. That would be around like 194. Even where it's pretty much sitting at right now, there's some support there. I mean, you can see where it's possible at 198, this stock on an intraday basis, PLTR, could find some support and try to bounce from there. Going back all the way down to 185, this is the level that we were talking about right here. So there's these two, I'll change this color right here to white. You have this rising trend line, you have support right there. That's the intraday, that is the daily charts. Now, you want to keep in mind just how stretched this stock is. I mean, it has become extremely, extremely overbought, overvalued. And just looking at it all time, I mean, these are not normal moves. This is pretty much what you see in a market bubble. So you want to keep that, keep that perspective fresh, that if you have a strong position in the stock, if you've been holding it for a while, you want to be doing what you can to make sure that you're protecting your gains, maybe even booking some profits along the way, raising stop losses, etc. But whether it's from the weekly or even from the monthly, it's overextended. It's up 18 out of the last 20 months. And if you really are honest with yourself and you look at it for what it's telling you right here, extremely overbought, 95 stochastics. But even these months where it actually finished down, barely it finished down. I mean, this one here was like 50 cents, and this one right here was down about 1%. So you're not talking about any major pullbacks on a monthly basis. I mean, almost every month this thing has finished higher. It's well overextended. So you're getting to a point here now where the reward is far smaller than the amount of risk that you would be taking on with a trade when it's become this overextended. Now, I say all this not to rain on anybody's parade. I know there's a lot of people who are very passionate about Palantir Technologies, and they have a lot of hopes for it in the future, for it to continue to grow. However, just like any stock, if you look at how well Oracle has done, but if you look at the years before it, it's had its time of where it pulled back, where it struggled. You even look at stocks like Nvidia. It has had moments where it's pulled back significantly. Palantir Technologies really hasn't seen that in almost 2 years. So it's very much ripe for a pullback of some kind, for some, at the very least, some price discovery to see where the buyers can ultimately settle in at and provide a good reward risk ratio going forward. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments below, what is your take on Palantir Technologies? How are you trading it? And do you think I'm right or wrong about this being a very valued stock? I mean, it has a PE ratio of over 600. I can't see how you could argue against it, but I would be willing to engage in some friendly discussion with you in the comments below. Thank you, guys. And remember, Jesus Christ, He's the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through Him. Thank you, and God bless.